This is 37th Street Radio and TV, and of course, we're out here hooking you up with the best of the best when it comes to interviews. And today, we have another special guest. So, guest, please just introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sheila Kimani. I am a mindset coach. Currently, I'm a life coach and I'm specializing in mindset. And I help young adults to overcome fears, doubts, and anxieties that they may have in their lives.
So, I just want us to go straight into it. How did you even find yourself in this career path?
Yes, that's a very good question. I'll just start with my whole background. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in international relations. I was actually in USIU. That was like back in 2019, yeah. And then I was also working as a social media executive at Big Square at the time. So when I graduated, the only thing that I could get for work was social media. So I went ahead and I worked for Big Square, I worked for Embassy of Israel, and I worked for other agencies as well as their social media executive, as a community manager. And I did it for quite a while, but it got to a point whereby I used to get a lot of panicking. I used to panic so much and get so much anxiety when I was starting my day. And and then that's when I moved countries. I moved from Kenya, I came to the United States. And when I was here, I was like, I need to start redefining my path again. Because, moving countries is like starting from scratch all over again. So I had to start thinking of ways of how I will now maybe go back to doing international relations or something. And I feel like it got to a point where it was like I need to be fulfilled. I need to find something that's fulfilling for me. And social media, just being a community manager, was never fulfilling for me. As I said, it was all about a lot of pressure, a lot of panicking, and I was like, I can't. It was very hard for me. So I think I was with my sister one day and she mentioned about life coaching, and I'm like, what is life coaching? I didn't know anything about it. I went and researched it. My brain travels so fast. So I researched, I looked for programs that I can get certified as a life coach. I got certified as a life coach. And yeah, I've done several programs. I started my own practice as a life coach. And with time I was able to understand life coaching is something that I had done before, but on a personal level. And life coaching is all about guiding someone and being there and being like an accountability partner for someone to be able to achieve goals that they've set or overcome things that they really want to overcome. So in the past, I used to be a life coach for my friends and my family. Someone would come to me, Sheila, I'm going through this, please help me navigate through. And we would sit together and go through it. And at that time I didn't know what it meant, but it was very fulfilling for me. And I was like, if I could do this on a more professional level, I would have a very impactful career. And that's why I was like, now who can I be reach? Who can I reach as a life coach? And that's how I decided I want to be a life coach for the young adults, to talk about mindsets to help them overcome any fears and anxieties. As a young adult, I feel like we go through a lot of things. I feel like we go through a lot of things that maybe affect us, they negatively impact us, because you're like, oh my god, I don't know if I'm doing this right, or I don't know if this is the correct thing for me to do, if this is the right career path for me. So I'm here to help young adults navigate through the life and yeah, overcome anything that may seem limiting for them.
You're talking about relocating to the US, and I just want to bring this up. So, did you have culture shock, or are you the type of people who just blend in the environment and you are good to go?
I really did not have culture shock as much, because previously I had come to the US like twice before I finally relocated. So I did not have a lot of culture shock. And I just did not blend in it. You just cannot blend in. You cannot get used to the winter immediately, because the snow, of course. I mean, you're like, oh my God, it's actually snowing. I've never seen snow before. So that's, if I'm to say, maybe those are some of the culture shock that I found. Yeah, and some little things that you're like, oh, that's how you guys do your things here and that kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, and then so you have just relocated, and you said that you decided to maybe choose a different career path. So I want to understand like how this even came about. Like, did you maybe sit down and start strategizing? I see a gap in the market. I can do this, and I can offer this to people.
Yeah.
Or was it that, as you had said before, you had practiced this thing like long time ago without even knowing? Then did well maybe did you just do a reflection and you are analyzing your life and you came up with this idea? I've been doing something in the past, I can now do it professionally. Like, how was it to even decide that this is the path that you're choosing?
Um, I I went through a whole series of things. I sat down. Actually, it was. I feel like that year was very, very, very hard for me because it was like I need to start doing something with my life, you know. And I'm like, I cannot just restart again social media here because I was like that I've kind of put it aside for now. So I started maybe I was like maybe I'm going to end up as a nurse. So I started saying okay, I'm going to start looking for schools in nursing, and I was like maybe I'm going to end up in healthcare. And as I went through it I was like no, I don't want to do that. That's not what I really want to do. So I went back to the drawing board again. And when I went back to the drawing board I was like maybe I'm going to do medical billing. And I started the school medical billing, and I'm like no, that's not what I want to do for myself. So I went back again to the drawing board, and I feel like I did this quite a while, like 4 times up until I was like, okay, I need to actually find something fulfilling. I was like, now I need to sit down and think, what can I do that will impact people? Because that's what I wanted to do. Well, it's gonna be very impactful to people. What will I do that's going to make me have a successful career? What will make me, make a difference in people's life and help people the way that I want to help people? And I started listing some of my skills that I did have at the time. I also listed some of my strengths and weaknesses that I had at the time. Also, some of the things that I liked doing. I love talking to people. I'm an ambivert. It's like a mixture of an introvert and an extrovert. I'm an ambivert. I love talking to people, large groups of people, and just, talking one on one with people. I love that. So I had to list that as one of my strengths. And my skills I had to list, I am very good with public speaking. I'm very good with I'm always wanting to learn new things. Like one thing about me is that I learned every time, almost every month, I'm always learning something new. I'm always learning one more skill. And I feel like learning skills is infinite. I can never stop learning the skills because you never know where you're going to use them. I still have one. I think recently I dreamt that one day I finally got to use my bachelor's degree. And that time I was like 40 something years old. But I was like, yay, you finally used it. So, anyway, I listed all my skills, all my attributes, all my strengths and weaknesses, and things that I loved doing. And from that, that's when I was able to see that life coaching was definitely a path for me to take.
So another thing I want us to touch on, you decided that that's the path that you are going to take, and now there's usually another issue. You now want to start looking for opportunities. So how was it looking for opportunities when you do not even have maybe prior like
Right.
prior people don't really know about you in the industry? So how do you start even looking for opportunities? How was it for you? How did you manage?
Yeah, that is a very good question. So in life coaching, that it you can it's a very different kind of environment. Actually, maybe it's the same with every other place. And it really required people with experience. You have to have experience in life coaching. You have to have been a life coach for over I don't know how many years. And right now, the like forums that I attend about life coaching, conferences or summits, or all that kind of thing, when I attend them, I'm usually one of the youngest life coaches, Most life coaches are older, way older, like way above 50 maybe. And someone comes with like, I have 25 years experience in nursing. I have 25 years experience. And I'm like, oh my God, I have zero experience. I'm just trying to build a life for myself here. So what I did, when I realized that I want to do life coaching, what I'm currently even doing right now, I'm building myself. I'm building myself as a life coach. Reason being, so I had to go out there and look for something else that could mean I'm helping people in a whole different way, but I'm still trying to get to where I'm going. So I went ahead, I looked for another job. So I'm also working I'm also working as a case manager, whereby it's for a program. It's for like a government insurance, federal insurance program here. So I help people, or rather, I connect people with services that they require. So as I'm able to do this, I'm also able to work on my transition plan as a life coach. So as much as yes, I'm a life coach, I'm doing this as part of building myself up, because 5 years from now I'm going to say I have been a life coach for the past like 6 7 years, but I cannot sit on my dream, say I want to be a life coach, but I don't know, I don't have any experience. I started building the experience now. And I'm like, it was really something. It was this, I feel like it was a leap of faith that I took. And I had to think about, I have to pay my bills, I have to pay for my insurance and all kind of things. So I had to definitely get something else that's going to be able to cater for my bills as I work on my dream.
What's the nature of your job like, in terms of who, maybe do you get hired by corporates to train employees, or you just do it on a personal level, like people contact you, hey, I want you to help me figure this out? So how is it? Do you get hired by only corporates to maybe talk to the employees, or individual basis?
So life coaching has different levels to it, and has different niches. And the one that you're talking about, corporate, it's different. That's called corporate coaching, and that's like organizational coaching. Currently, I was able to do a webinar for a group that contacted me. They wanted me to speak to the. It was like an organization that they wanted me to speak to their workmates, and we had a very candid conversation on Zoom, and I was able to deliver a coaching session for them. Apart from that, people are always able to contact me on an individual level, whereby I can coach them one on one. I can coach them with their partners. I can coach them if they're a group of friends, if they're a group of workmates that they want to change a certain mindset, or they're trying to develop something for themselves. So, how people usually reach me, they usually reach me through my website or my social media pages.
I want you to tackle something. I don't know if you have experienced this in your practice, but I just want you to talk about how can someone be productive, and be, if somebody maybe wants to be very, very productive and they have all these responsibilities, their family, personal life, career, how can they navigate uh, through that?
Yeah, so how to be productive with several responsibilities like family, career, and what was the other thing that you said? You said something.
Family and career, yeah.
Oh, just family and career?
Yeah, you want to be very productive in your career, but you also have family. There are some certain people who they also want to start a side hustle. So maybe they have a side hustle, they have the career, they have family. How do they navigate?
So in this case, one would have to create a to-do list for themselves. So for instance, the career is here, the family is here, and there's a side hustle in the middle that they're trying to create for themselves. Family is important, their career is important, and probably the side hustle that they want to create is gonna be equally important. In this case, you have to understand, or rather think For instance, what time does my family wake up? My family wakes up at 8 o'clock. You want to wake up like an hour earlier for you to at least do something different. Because if you wake up the time that your family is going to wake up, so meaning from the time your family wakes up, it's going to only be your family, right? But if you try and wake up at least an hour earlier or go to bed an hour later after your family goes to bed, you will have like 2 hours right there that you can either think, I'm going to put these 2 hours to my side hustle. So I have every day for 2 hours, I'm going to just be focusing on my side hustle. So you can either say, I want to do 2 hours in the morning, or I want to do 2 hours later in the evening, or I want to separate the 2 hours. And then when it comes to career, and I'm thinking at this point, the person has a career in between the day. So family, I feel like most families have a routine. Like we wake up, we eat breakfast, or we wake up, everybody take a shower, something like that. You know your family's routine, and you know that you have to go to work at a certain time. So having a plan for your day, having a schedule or a to-do list for your day really helps, because you're going to be like, today I want to do this for my family. And when you have a to-do list, that you will make sure you check it out. If you're like the kind of person who's like, I have to check everything on my list, you will make sure you check that. You'll be like, okay, today I did this for my family, today I did this in terms of my career, and today I did this in terms of my side hustle. In that way, you've been able to be productive in all areas. And something that I always also advise people to do, you have to like time blocking. You could do like a time block and say, for instance, if you're working from home and you're trying to balance family and career, you have to do like a time block and be like, this time for like the next 3 hours, I'm focusing on my job, and this is that's the only thing I'm going to focus on, of course with having breaks in between, because you cannot sit on your desk for like 3 hours. And then afterwards, you like say probably, I'm going to, then the next 3 hours I'm going to dedicate it to my children or my family. I'm going to do something, an activity with them. And then you say maybe later on, after I'm done with everything, after I'm done with probably dinner and with family, I'm going to have an hour for my side hustle, to try and do something for my side hustle. And by the end of the day, you want to journal and write down, this is what I was able to accomplish today, this is what I want to accomplish tomorrow. Another thing, with especially in terms of journaling, and I say, I think I give this example another time. If you don't know what to put first, what you should prioritize first, or anything, and also if you don't know how to journal, I always advise people to have like a book in front of them, to sit upright, have a book in front of them and a pen. Close their eyes, play some music in the background, some soft meditation music, and just write down, close their eyes and write down whatever comes to mind. And when write down whatever comes to mind, after 15 minutes, or you exhausted all the thoughts in your mind, you'll be able to open your eyes and see everything that you've written down. Now, as much as you've scribbled, I'm sure one would be able to understand the handwriting. So afterwards, you'll be able to be like, okay, so these are the things in my mind right now. I will now prioritize what I want to achieve first. So that's another way that you can try and be productive and at least attend to most of your tasks list. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, so I was checking out also your social media, your Instagram,
Yeah.
and I saw that guys can book calls so that you can help them with solutions. And I just wanted to know, like, what prompted these methods?
That method. That method. So I think you're talking about the discovery call.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's on my page. The discovery call is, for instance, when someone is like, I'm not sure what I need, or I think I need a life coach, but I don't know what's gonna happen. Or I know I need a life coach, but I wanna test the waters first and see if we're a good fit. So that's the work of the discovery call. It's free. It's definitely 100% free, whereby I just we just connect. When someone books the call, we connect. We have a call whereby we try and they tell me what they're looking for, and I tell them what I can offer my services, and we see if you're a good fit with them. It goes for like 30 minutes, and we're always able to connect and see if you're a good fit. If you're a good fit, we go ahead doing the intakes and all that kind of stuff. What prompted me to put it on my page, it's like a button that to show people you can, oh, there's a way that you can actually reach me, so yeah.
And then, of course, another thing I want you to touch on is just the Mindset Hub podcast, because I see that you're like really utilizing this social media place, which some people do not want to utilize it, but the change is here and there's nothing we can do about it. So the Mindset Hub podcast, just talk about it. Why did you come up with it? And what issues do you want to address using the podcast?
Actually, actually, I haven't even like what posted it on my Instagram yet. I put it on my link, so I'm happy to hear that that someone saw it. I've actually just posted one episode. I launched it like 2 weeks ago. On that podcast, I intend to talk about everything that affects us as young adults. Like, for instance, how to come out, how to like love yourself, how to adopt a growth mindset, how to know if you have a fixed mindset. I intend to address anything that might help us like reshape thought patterns that limit your beliefs, they limit your habits, and all these kind of things. So that's what I intend to do with the podcast. I also intend to have like guests, people who are like experts in certain topics, to be able to help us cover some of the topics that we're going to be having on the podcast.
As we are finishing up, just I want you to just look at your life, what you have been able to establish, where you started, and where you are right now. Just talk to us about some of the things that you really view as achievements in your life.
Wow. My life has my life has had its ups and downs. Growing up, I really grew up with like my self-esteem was in the pits. And when I say in the pits, I mean down to the barrel bottom. Like I did not believe in myself. I doubted myself. I was that child who has the right answer, but they cannot lift their hands up because they are afraid. I was and I really struggled with self-esteem. Going from primary school, I went to high school, I was still struggling with my self-esteem. And in college, I feel like that's when I got a transformation. And it was this time whereby there was something called like a Harvard National Model of United Nations that I got to attend. But before that, I applied for it in 2016. But then I got denied. They told me, no, you're not gonna be able to attend this year. And I was like, why? I was like, oh my God. And that kind of affected me. I was like, oh my goodness. They told me I cannot apply. But they told me I can apply again next year. So I was patiently waiting for a whole year. I was like, I'm going to apply for this thing again next year. And next year came and I applied for it and I got accepted. And when I got accepted, I was like, oh my God, here I am. Like, this is it. This is it. We're gonna go to Harvard. We're gonna go to Harvard. So and we had topics that we had to cover because it was like a model of United Nations, like a simulation. So I had my topics and I was representing Ghana, and there was another conference that we were gonna attend in Howard University that was called International African Union Model, just like not the African version of the UN version, and that was representing Somalia. And I remember me going to our trainings in school, and almost everybody had an experience in high school of these things, and I was like, oh snap, yeah, I don't have any experience. This is like my first time to actually do public speaking because we were gonna present our points. And I felt like really intimidated. I felt like, oh my God, I do not know how I'm going to do this thing. I just have no clue. And then one day I decided I'm not gonna sit here and feel terrible for myself. I'm not going to sit here and pity myself. I'm going to actually put in the work. So I pulled out a notebook. I remember it was a red notebook. I pulled it out and I was like, I'm going to write all my notes that I do research on. I'm going to write all the notes that I will require for these simulations. I used to, during the training sessions, I had my laptop and I just used to write the notes. I wrote the notes. I just used to write. And I did a lot of research and a lot. So by the time we were leaving the country, some people do not even know who I was. But when we got there and I was able to I gained confidence and I was able to articulate my points in the best possible way. And from then on, when I went to Howard University for the African one, I actually got an award as one of the most outstanding, committees or delegates in the conference. And I feel like that's when I was able to achieve a self-esteem. That's when I was able to gain confidence in my life and in myself. And from then on, I have been unstoppable. I have been able to break barriers that were set for me. I was able to break off limits that were set for me. And up to date, I feel like everything I've done in my life has been an achievement. I cannot say like this was the biggest. For me, everything that I've been able to do, it has been an achievement. So I feel like that really covers it. And me gaining confidence is what has brought me to where I am right now.
And lastly, I want you to talk to guys who may be starting out in such a field, and you can just advise them, and also you have been able to do such, to take a very big risk in your life. You just know how the Kenyan mindset we usually behave. We are very afraid to make a career switch, but this is something that you have done. So I want you to just talk to guys who may be starting out in your field. What should they do? What should they do? If there's somewhere maybe that they can get very good information, you can direct them. Just that, then we are done.
Okay. Um, the first thing, you have to believe in yourself for the world to believe in you. You have to believe in yourself. Even when you cannot believe in yourself, just know, anybody listen to this, just know I believe in you. So you can borrow my belief. You can borrow how much I believe in you. So believe in yourself. Always seek knowledge. Knowledge is power. Read as many books as you can. And I know it sounds like a cliche, but read as many books as we can. And there's this Kenyan mindset about self-help that Kenyans hate it so much. And I want to tell you, if or if you just want to grow in any possible way, you have to read books. You have to do a lot of work in terms of personal development. You have to develop yourself, because as you go out there, you're going to be developing other people's lives, other people's careers, and you don't even have to be in my industry. You can be I see you're somewhere. You're going to be impacting people. Everybody's going to be looking at you. So you want to read a lot. You want to impact yourself with a lot of knowledge. And then something else is that you want to learn as many skills as you can. If you can learn a foreign language, please go ahead and do it. If you can learn a new language in coding, go ahead and do it. If you can learn something new that's happening in your industry, do it. It's going to really help you in terms of where the world is going in the next couple of years. The world is so dynamic, it's not static. So you have to realize that it's always changing and you have to keep up with the changes. And in terms of links whereby that they can help you, I would tell you, start with the skills. For instance, I have used Coursera or Udemy or Harvard Online or Harvard Business Online that have free courses that you can take and you can develop yourself. In terms of life coaching, there's the International Coaching Federation. You can go out there and just look it out and see what you need to do for you to start doing coaching for yourself. Also, you have to follow your industry experts on social media. If you know someone is doing something and they're succeeding in it, in the industry that you're in it, you have to follow them on social media. You're gonna be following like I don't know. I don't want to say I don't want to say what pages, but you cannot be following gossip pages if you want to be, I don't know, if you want to be the best journalist. You have to follow the industry experts in your field, and that's how you're going to learn from them as you're scrolling on social media. So that's all I have to say about that.
Thank you so much for giving me your time, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, and have a good evening.
Thank you.